They were smaller than Hot Wheels, but somehow they felt even cooler. If you were a kid in the late 80s or early 90s, you probably had them stuffed in your backpack, spread across the living room floor, or maybe buried in a shoebox under your bed. Here's the big mystery. One day, they just disappeared. What happened to Micro Machines? Today, we're looking into the past, present, and future of one of the most beloved miniature toys ever made. We'll trace its origins, peak popularity, jaw-dropping sales, and why collectors today are still obsessed with these tiny legends. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how Micro Machines went from toy shelves to toy history and whether they're making a comeback. The story of Micro Machines kicks off in 1986 when a small California toy company called Galoob decided to take on the giants Mattel, Hasbro, and all the other big names ruling the toy car world. Back then, Hot Wheels and Matchbox were already kings of the road, but Galoob had a wild idea. What if they shrunk everything down? Way down. Instead of the usual 1/64 scale you saw everywhere, they went microscopic, a stunning 1/150th scale. Suddenly, kids weren't just playing with toy cars, they were holding entire fleets in the palms of their hands. But Galoob didn't stop there. They dreamed bigger. They added tiny airplanes, helicopters, boats, tanks, military vehicles, trains, construction trucks, and even little space shuttles, building a sprawling micro-universe that sparked kids' imaginations and made collectors' hearts race. A key factor in their explosive rise was marketing genius. Galoob signed John Moschitta Jr., famously known as the world's fastest talker, to star in the hyperspeed TV commercials. His rapid-fire delivery, combined with the unforgettable slogan, "If it doesn't say Micro Machines, it's not the real thing," became burned into the brains of kids across the country. These ads didn't just sell toys, they sold excitement.
Micro Machine Man presenting the most midget miniature motorcade of Micro Machines. Each one has dramatic details, terrific trim, precision paint jobs, plus incredible Micro Machine pocket playsets. There's a police station, fire station, restaurant, service station, and more.
By the late 1980s, Micro Machines were a cultural phenomenon. Children were hooked, parents were scrambling to keep up with demand, and stores couldn't keep the shelves stocked. More than just toy cars, Micro Machines redefined what miniature play could be, igniting one of the biggest and most beloved toy crazes of the decade. At its peak, Micro Machines wasn't just another toy line. They were a full-blown cultural juggernaut. By 1989, Galoob was pulling in over $120 million a year from Micro Machine sales alone. An absolutely jaw-dropping number for a company that had once been a small underdog facing off against toy titans like Mattel and Hasbro. Micro Machines didn't just hold their own, they surged into the top 5 best-selling boys' toys in America, outselling iconic names, and even some of the era's hottest action figure lines. If you were a kid watching Saturday morning cartoons in the late 80s or early 90s, you couldn't escape the Micro Machines commercials. These ads weren't boring or predictable. They were fast, loud, and packed with excitement. You'd see incredible fold-out playsets transforming from ordinary-looking buildings into sprawling cityscapes, racetracks, or battle zones. And when playtime was over, everything neatly folded up into a suitcase-side case you could carry anywhere. It was every kid's dream, a whole tiny universe that fit in your backpack. But what really pushed Micro Machines into legendary status were their brand collaborations. They scored massive licensing deals with Star Trek, Power Rangers, James Bond, and military collections. The Star Wars Micro Machines line became especially beloved, giving fans the chance to own mini X-Wings, TIE Fighters, and even a palm-sized Millennium Falcon. Kids were obsessed, collectors were thrilled, and Galoob was sitting at the top of the toy world. Even though there's no official behind-the-scenes footage of how Micro Machines were made, we know a lot about the process from how similar toys were produced at the time. These tiny vehicles were created using a process called plastic injection molding, where melted plastic was pushed into detailed metal molds under high pressure. This allowed the manufacturers to create small, precise shapes, perfect for the tiny bodies, windows, and details that made Micro Machines stand out. Once the plastic parts were molded, they were taken through careful trimming and cleaning to remove any extra bits left over from the molding process. Each car usually started as 2 main body halves, designed to fit together neatly. Workers would either snap these pieces together or glue them, making sure the alignment was just right. Even at their small size, often smaller than a paperclip, Micro Machines had rolling wheels with tiny metal axles, giving them full playability, not just shelf appeal. After assembly, the cars moved onto the detailing stage. This is where the personality of each Micro Machine really came to life. Workers applied paint in carefully controlled patterns, sometimes using tiny masks or stamps to make sure the design stayed sharp. Decals like racing stripes, license plates, or logos were added next, helping each vehicle look just like its real-life counterpart. The level of detail was impressive for something so small, with molded features like grills, spoilers, or even tiny door handles. What set Micro Machines apart wasn't just the cars themselves, but the huge variety and the imaginative play they offered. Galoob produced not only cars, but also planes, boats, tanks, and space vehicles, covering almost every theme a kid could dream of. Then were the fold-out playsets, one of the most iconic parts of the brand. A gas station playset, for example, looked like a small box when closed, but unfolded into a full service station, complete with ramps, pumps, and moving parts. Everything was designed to fold up neatly when playtime was done, making it easy to store or take along to a friend's house. So, what exactly happened to Micro Machines? How did one of the most beloved toy brands fade away so suddenly? In the mid to late 1990s, Micro Machines began losing the incredible momentum that had once made them a household name. Several key factors combined to push the brand off its pedestal. First, the toy landscape itself was shifting rapidly. Kids were no longer satisfied with just physical toys. They were increasingly drawn to electronic gadgets, Tamagotchis, Game Boys, and the exploding world of video games. Suddenly, tiny plastic cars and fold-out playsets didn't spark the same excitement as they once had. Second, the market became oversaturated. By the late 90s, Galoob had released hundreds of Micro Machine sets, covering nearly every possible theme, from racetracks and tanks to airplanes, boats, and Star Wars spaceships. The sheer volume of product meant that many kids and parents had simply moved on. They either had enough or were distracted by newer, flashier toys entering the market. Finally, the corporate landscape dealt a major blow. In 1998, Hasbro, one of the biggest players in the toy industry, acquired Galoob. While Hasbro kept some of Galoob's successful brands alive, Micro Machines weren't the top priority. Hasbro shifted its focus toward powerhouse franchises like Transformers and G.I. Joe. Slowly but surely, Micro Machines were phased out. By the early 2000s, they had all but vanished from store shelves, leaving many fans of the brand wondering what had happened to the tiny cars they once loved so much. For kids of the time, it truly felt like Micro Machines disappeared almost overnight. Here's the twist. Micro Machines have made several comebacks over the years, but none have quite managed to reclaim their original magic. In 2003, Hasbro attempted a revival, releasing small reissue sets and tapping into the ever-popular Star Wars license. Another comeback attempt came in 2015, again centered around Star Wars tie-ins, hoping to ride the hype of the new movie releases. Most recently in 2020, Micro Machines were officially relaunched with sleek new packaging, redesigned vehicles, and fresh playsets aimed at both a new generation of kids and nostalgic adult collectors. But here's the honest truth. It's incredibly hard to recreate the spark of a once-in-a-generation toy craze. Today's toy market is dramatically different. It's packed with high-tech gadgets, rapidly shifting trends, and digital entertainment competing for attention. While Micro Machines have carved out a niche as collector's items and nostalgic novelties, they no longer hold the mass market power they once did. Still, for those who remember racing tiny cars across kitchen tables, unfolding miniature cities, and quoting those lightning-fast commercials, Micro Machines will always hold a treasured place in toy history. For lots of fans, Micro Machines never really disappeared. They just grew up along with us. What once rattled around in backpacks or raced across bedroom floors now sits proudly on collectors' shelves, carefully displayed as treasures from another time. Vintage Micro Machines are hot in the collector world. Unopened boxes, rare playsets, and special edition models can fetch impressive prices. Hop onto eBay or a collector auction, and you'll find listings climbing into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Ultra-rare promo models, factory errors, or limited releases are especially prized. But the real magic isn't just in the price tag. It's in the community. Across online forums, Facebook groups, Reddit threads, and Instagram, passionate fans share photos, restoration tips, swap stories, and track down rare international releases or obscure color variants. For many, It's about reconnecting with the exact sets they had as kids, the ones they zoomed across the kitchen table on rainy afternoons. Holding one of these tiny cars or spaceships today is like holding a time machine. Small in size, but enormous in heart, Micro Machines will always have a special place in toy history. So, what happened to Micro Machines? They didn't just vanish, they evolved. From a small toy company's big idea, they became a pop culture juggernaut, faded out, and now live on in collector circles and nostalgic hearts. And while they'll probably never dominate the toy market like they once did, Micro Machines remain a symbol of a golden era of toys, a time when smaller really did mean cooler. Do you have a Micro Machines memory? Maybe you still have a few tucked away in a box somewhere. Drop your story in the comments below. And if you love this nostalgia deep dive, hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around because we've got more incredible toy histories coming your way. See you next time.
Welcome to the world of Matchbox, where reality is shrunk down to pocket-sized perfection. Matchbox cars aren't just toys, they're miniature marvels of engineering and design, capturing the essence of real-world vehicles in incredible detail. Whether it's a sleek sports car, a rugged fire truck, or a classic sedan, Matchbox has been bringing the big world to kids' hands and collectors' shelves for over 70 years. Today, we are peeling back the curtain on the fascinating process, from their humble beginnings to the intricate engineering and manufacturing process that makes them collector-worthy. We'll uncover the secrets behind these miniature marvels. Get ready for an inside look at how Matchbox creates small-scale replicas of the big world around us. The story of Matchbox begins in 1953 in London, where Lesney Products was founded by Leslie Smith and Rodney Smith. Their small factory was known for producing industrial die-cast products, but their true breakthrough was when they teamed up with engineer Jack Odell. Jack had a problem to solve. His daughter's school only allowed her to bring toys that could fit inside a matchbox. Inspired by this restriction, he created a tiny toy road roller that fit perfectly in her matchbox, and thus, the Matchbox brand was born. By 1954, Matchbox launched its groundbreaking 1-75 series, a collection of 75 die-cast models, representing everything from construction equipment to everyday cars. These weren't just toys, they were designed with meticulous detail, offering affordable, realistic miniatures that appealed to both children and adults. Fun fact, the Matchbox No. 30 Ford Model A van became so popular that it sold over 1 million units in a single year. Over the decades, Matchbox cars evolved with the times. In the 1960s, they introduced working features like opening doors and rolling wheels. By the 1970s, Matchbox had expanded into licensed vehicles, adding iconic brands like Ford, Chevrolet, and Porsche to their lineup. In 1997, Matchbox joined the Mattel family, uniting with its fiercest competitor, Hot Wheels. While Hot Wheels leaned into flashy, fantasy-inspired designs, Matchbox stayed true to its roots, realistic, functional, and timeless. Today, Matchbox cars remain a staple for kids and collectors alike, blending nostalgia with cutting-edge design.
And the ultimate challenge, you build them super fast. You customize them to...
Let's take a closer look at how Matchbox cars go from concept to reality. Each step of the process involves a combination of artistry, engineering, and advanced technology. Every Matchbox car begins with an idea. Designers at Mattel start by researching real-world vehicles, whether it's a fire truck, a sports car, or a vintage classic. The goal is to capture the essence of the vehicle in 1/64th scale. Inspiration comes from car shows, automotive history, and even the latest trends in transportation. Once the team selects a vehicle, they dive deep into its details. This includes studying photographs, blueprints, and actual cars. If the car is based on a licensed brand like Ford or Lamborghini, Matchbox works closely with the manufacturer to ensure the model is accurate. After research, the design team starts sketching. This is where creativity takes center stage. The goal is to capture the car's personality while ensuring it'll be functional and durable in toy form. Designers consider everything from the placement of decals to how the wheels will roll. At this stage, the team also decides on the car's color scheme, special features, and overall aesthetic. For vehicles like fire trucks, they focus on intricate details like ladders and hoses. For sports cars, it's all about sleek lines and eye-catching designs. Once the sketches are finalized, the design is transformed into detailed 3D digital models using advanced CAD software. This step allows designers to refine the car's dimensions, proportions, and mechanical features. Key considerations at this stage include functionality. Will the car roll smoothly on tracks and flat surfaces? Durability. Will the design hold up to rough play? Scale. Does it stay true to the 1/64th Matchbox standard? The digital model also includes details like the car's axles, windows, and interior. This ensures every part fits together seamlessly when the car is assembled. With the digital model complete, it's time to create a physical prototype. Using 3D printing technology, designers produce a scaled-down version of the car. This prototype allows the team to test the car's look, feel, and functionality. During this phase, adjustments are often made. If the prototype feels too heavy, wobbles, or doesn't capture the car's spirit, the design is refined until it's just right. Fun fact, prototypes are often hand-painted to test color schemes and decal placement before mass production. Once the prototype is approved, the next step is creating the molds. These molds are made from steel and are incredibly precise, capturing even the tiniest details of the car. The molds are divided into parts for the car's body, interior, chassis, and wheels. Tooling is one of the most critical steps, as these molds will be used to produce millions of cars. Any error in the molds could affect the entire production run. Die casting is where Matchbox cars stand apart from other toys. The car's metal body is created using a die casting process, where molten zinc alloy is poured into the molds. This process gives Matchbox cars their signature weight and durability. Meanwhile, the interior, windows, and wheels are crafted from injection molded plastic using separate molds. Once the metal bodies cool and solidify, they're cleaned and prepared for the next steps. Matchbox cars are known for their vibrant colors and realistic details. The painting process involves several layers of durable, high-gloss paint. After the base coat is applied, decals are added to complete the look. Whether it's flames, racing stripes, or emergency vehicle logos, each car is customized to perfection. The die-cast body, plastic interior, wheels, and other components come together on the assembly line. Machines and skilled workers snap, screw, and fasten everything into place. Each car is carefully aligned to ensure it rolls smoothly and looks just like the original design. Quality control inspectors are stationed at key points along the line. If a car has a paint smudge, a crooked decal, or a defective wheel, it's pulled from the line. Matchbox cars must meet strict standards before they're approved for packaging. Once assembled, the cars are packaged in Matchbox's iconic boxes or blister packs. The packaging not only protects the car, but also showcases its design and branding. Special edition models may come in unique packaging, adding to their collectible appeal. The finished cars are shipped to stores around the world, ready to ignite imaginations and start new adventures. Matchbox cars are sold in toy aisles, specialty shops, and online, making them accessible to kids and collectors everywhere. Since 1953, Matchbox has been a pioneer in the toy industry. What started as a small idea, a car in a matchbox, has grown into a global phenomenon. Matchbox cars have inspired generations of kids to dream big and explore the world around them. From realistic replicas of fire trucks and police cars to vintage classics and construction vehicles, Matchbox remains a beloved brand for its authenticity and attention to detail. Even in a digital age, these timeless toys continue to spark creativity, nostalgia, and joy. And there you have it, the incredible journey of how Matchbox cars are made. From the first sketch to the final product, every Matchbox car is a testament to innovation, craftsmanship, and the power of imagination. If you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and share your favorite Matchbox memories in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time for more deep dives into the making of the world's coolest toys.